Hey everybody, welcome. Thanks for joining me. Today's class is going to be a yin style class. So think much slower and low to the ground, pretty relaxing. My inspiration for this class is really just the way that we like need to slow down in the summer and like cool down because of how hot it is and just how like extroverted this season can be. And also just the physical movements I've been doing lately have been very like one kind of plane. I walk a lot, I do a lot of cycling, and I've been adding strength training, and it just feels like very one type of motion. So we're going to focus a little bit on like side bodies and hips and kind of opening and just this motion of like taking up space around us and softening around the edges. So with that, you'll need a blanket, two blocks, maybe a bolster for Shavasana. Um, yeah, we're going to start on our bellies in a pose called Crocodile pose. So you'll stack your hands and you'll bring your forehead onto the hands as you come down onto your belly. And you'll just extend your legs back behind you. In fact, it might be nice to come onto your belly and imagine coming into sphinx pose first. Lift your right leg off the ground and really reach your right toes back behind you. And then lift the left leg and reach the left toes back behind you. And then you'll let your elbows go wide, let your forehead come down and rest here. And if for some reason this isn't really comfortable for your body, you can always take a block or two and place it under your forehead if you need more space in the chest area. So just doing whatever you need here to feel really comfortable. My little timer, you stay right where you are. So this pose can be really cooling. If you're ever really warm, just need to cool down. Crocodiles keep their belly and the front of their body close to the floor. I mean, they don't also really have much of a choice. That's just how they are anatomically shaped. They kind of move slowly, staying close to the earth. And the earth can have a really cooling effect as heat rises. This is just a very natural way to cool down the body. And also find a little bit of passive lengthening in our hip flexors. So we're putting our hips in extension here. Most of us are sitting most of the day. If we have long commutes, our hips are in flexion. So this can be a nice counter to any low back pain. You might even feel a sensation there. And if so, just breathing into the low belly. If you need any kind of support here, like this isn't comfortable, you can always place a blanket or a bolster under your shins and have your feet a little elevated. And just notice how you're feeling, not only in your body, but how you're arriving into your practice today. What kind of energy is present for you. And see if you can observe that and also allow to interfere or change what's going on. Let's take a slow breath in here. And then open mouth, exhale. We're going to stay in this orientation and we're going to prop ourselves up onto our forearms for sphinx pose. And if you've got that blanket near you, go ahead and bring the blanket over to the left side of your mat. And you can lie the blanket flat. And we'll draw the left knee up beside us, coming into a half frog sphinx shape. You can also bring a block under your forehead. I like to tilt my block on its edge, but you can play around with that. And once again, just noticing how changing the shape, what that did in the body and how that changes the sensations that you feel. And it's okay if there's not much present right now. It can be challenging to connect to our bodies when we have a lot going on in our minds, when we have a lot going on in our lives. If anything, just let this be a practice of slowing down and turning inward today. See if you can lengthen your exhalations. Take 3 more rounds of breath here. Take 1 more round of breath. And if your head's resting on a block, you can lift it. And we'll let the leg come out of the shape first. So you can lean to the right a little bit, straighten out the left leg. Move your block or your blanket over to the right side of your mat now. And we'll find half frog shape with the right leg. So drawing the right knee up so it's in line with the hip or so, doesn't have to be perfect. And then coming back onto the forearms. If this is feeling like a little bit too much sensation, you can always move your elbows a little further forward so that your chest comes a little closer to the ground and you can come all the way to the ground if need be. So just really listening to what your body needs. You can use the block under the forehead to let your head relax. So we're getting a passive external rotation of the hip, the right hip joint. While getting hip extension in the opposite. And a gentle compression in the spine, in the low back, and a bit of a back bend. So lots happening here. See if you can once again connect back into the breath and slowly breathe in through the nose and lengthen the exhale, nice and slow. And take about 3 more rounds of breath. One more breath in and exhale. Lift the head first off the block, straighten out the right leg, and come back into crocodile. Lower your forehead onto your hands. Maybe wiggle your hips from side to side. You could even let your legs move from side to side. They could move in the same direction. They could kind of crisscross and go opposite directions. And then start to make your way up onto your hands and knees, coming into a tabletop shape. And take a couple rounds of cat-cows. So on the inhalation, release the belly to the floor, lift the tailbone, lift the chin. As you exhale, round your spine, tuck the tail, tuck the chin. And breathe in for cow pose. And breathe out for cat. One more. Nice slow breath in, cow. And exhale for cat. And then press your hips all the way back onto your heels. Let your knees go wide apart. If you have a bolster, this would be a great place to lie one down vertically and then let your belly come down. And then walk your hands out. You can also bring a block under your forehead for this child's pose in yin. You want it to feel way more soft than it does in a power class or vinyasa class. So you can have your elbows bent. You could even have your fingers interlaced. You could have your arms reaching back towards your heels. In fact, I like bringing a blanket on top of my block and then letting my head turn to the right. And really just feel the breath, if you could imagine directing it into the back of your lungs, the back of your ribs, and also into the side bodies, and all the way into your low back. And if you had your head turned in one direction, go ahead and turn it in the opposite direction. Just getting a nice passive stretch through both sides of the neck. And really, again, try to focus in on deep breathing. You might even feel the breath all the way in the front of the belly, in the front of the ribs, and then around the body, to the back. Take 5 more breaths. And then one more breath here. And start to just rise up. You can keep your hips on your heels. So coming like into a hero's pose. Walk your hands back behind you. Come onto the fingertips. And then lift your heart towards the ceiling. Take like a little back bend here. Maybe if it feels safe, you let your head fall all the way back. You could even lift your hips off of your heels. And come back. And we will make our way into a seat. So you might want to sit on a blanket if you feel like that will be helpful for you. I'm going to turn to face you. So we're going to extend our right leg out long, and we'll bend the left knee so that the left foot is kind of creating like a half butterfly shape. And then you'll take a block and you'll place it on the outside of your right leg, kind of outside of the knee. And this is where your elbow is going to go of that right arm. So I like it on the tallest setting. For you, it might be a lower setting. Just kind of choose what works best. And relax your right leg. It doesn't have to be like flex. You don't have to flex the ankle. We're not like reaching for our deepest stretch. Relax the legs. If it helps, shake them out a little bit. And then take your elbow onto that block, make a little soft fist, and let your head rest there. And so think about your right or left shoulder. Maybe make some little circles with it. So you're kind of opening up in the chest. Maybe make some big sweeping circles with your left arm. And reverse directions. Make some big sweeping circles. And the next time that your left arm is sweeping up, take it all the way overhead. And you might let your arm rest on top of your head like so. Maybe behind the head. And at any point, if this starts to feel uncomfortable, like your right arm is going numb, you can just release the right arm. We're really focusing a lot more on the side body, right? So this whole part of your body from like your left hip all the way through the ribs and the armpits, and then the arm as well. But if it feels uncomfortable, you don't have to do it. We won't be here too long, about 1 more minute. And keep breathing. Notice if anywhere there's like a clutching or a holding or a lot of tension. See if you can relax. Breathing in, breathing out. And take one more breath in. And slowly release your left arm first. Come off the block, lengthen up, keep your legs the way they are. You might need your second block for this. And you're going to turn towards that extended leg, your right leg. And you can frame the leg with blocks. And we'll fold over this leg this time. And if there's any kind of adjustment that's going to feel better for you, like if it feels better to have your leg more directly out in front of you instead of out to the side, right, you can do that. You know your body best, and yin is such a great time to like have a combo with your body. Just have a conversation. Like, how are you feeling? Does this feel really uncomfortable? What can I do to make it a little bit more comfortable? For some, having the left leg like this might be really uncomfortable. You could play around with turning the orientation of that leg and actually having the heel back by your glute. Actually, for me, that feels way better. So I'm going to do that. There's no rules. Actually, the only rule is to not go to a point of pain. It's your only rule here. And I have about 5 more breaths. Try to relax your right leg as you fold over it. This is passive stretching. Let's take one more breath in. Slowly rise up and release. So you'll come up, you'll let both of your legs straighten out. Maybe you bend your knees and let your legs go from side to side. It can feel really nice after that long hold. And we'll switch. So opposite leg extended now. Take a block on the tallest setting. Take your left elbow there and make a little fist. And start with some circular motions with your right arm in one direction. And then the opposite direction. And if it's too much to have the arm straight, you can just keep your hand on the shoulder and move the elbow in a little circle. Eventually let your right arm just extend overhead. And keep breathing. This can feel a little intense. It does for me. Maybe not for everyone, but if it does, yet again, make the adjustments that you need and try your best to soften and relax anywhere that you notice automatically builds tension or holding or gripping. Any numbness or tingling in the arm, just relax it in front of you. Oh, 5 more breaths. Take one more breath in. Exhale. And then start to slowly let yourself come up, rise up, and then turn towards your extended left leg. And you can use the blocks as a way to like support yourself as you fold. You could have your forearms, elbows resting on them. Might have a bolster lying along your leg. That could feel better. And just taking it nice and easy. One side might feel totally different than the other side. It's really normal thing in yin, especially. And same thing with this bent leg. Maybe it doesn't feel very good to have it bent in that orientation, and you bend the heel back behind you. So it's more internally rotated. We're targeting the folded leg, the back of that leg, that hamstring. So that's really where we want to feel sensation. So whatever helps you get a hamstring stretch, do whatever you have to do. We're here for about 1 more minute. Let's take 3 more breaths. Two more breaths. And last one, breathe in and exhale. Very slowly start to make your way up, out. And you can straighten out both of your legs. Maybe bend the knees and let them drop from side to side a couple times. And we'll do a little bit of hip stuff on our back, and we'll call it a day. We're trying to keep this about 45 minutes. So let's come onto our backs. And as you lie down, hug your right knee into your chest. And just take a couple moments to pull the knee into your chest, roll out your ankle a couple times. Maybe extend your right leg to the sky, roll out the ankle, reversing directions. And then cross your right ankle over your left thigh for figure 4. And you can keep the left foot on the ground for now. And we're just going to let the knees rock from side to side a couple times. Rolling to the inside edge of the left foot and then the left outside edge of the left foot. Just kind of playing with that motion. And then settling back into center. And if you're near a wall, I should have told you this, you can place your left foot on the wall. So figure 4 on the wall is one of my favorite shapes. So you could cross the right ankle over the left thigh like that. If you're not near a wall, you could place a couple blocks under your left foot, or you can lift the foot and interlace your hands behind the left hamstring and get into the stretch that way. And if you'd like a variation with your arms, you could extend them overhead and like bring them into cactus arm shape, or you could interlace them behind your head. Just getting some energy and stimulation in the arms is really good for our heart. stimulates the meridians that run along the heart and also of the small intestine, which are the two organs that are associated with summertime. Maybe just taking a moment here to notice if there's any shift in your body or in your mind or even your emotional state from when you started class. Even if it's just, wow, I feel tired. It might just be the recognition that you're tired, that you need some rest. Take about 5 more rounds of breath here. Take one more breath in and out. And if your left foot's on the wall, just bring your right knee into the chest. No matter where you are, I guess just hug the right knee into the chest and then let your right leg straighten out. It can rest on the wall, it can rest on the ground, depending where you are. Maybe even shake that leg out a little bit. And we'll switch sides. So crossing the left ankle over the right. And if you're on the wall, maybe keep your right foot on the ground for a moment. Take a couple moments to rock your knees from side to side, just like we did on the other. Kind of noticing what you feel in the low back and in the outer glutes. Eventually coming to a pause. And if you're near a wall, place the right foot on the wall. Cross the left ankle over the right thigh. Sorry, I think I forgot. Extend your left foot towards the ceiling and roll out your ankle. I did. If that felt good on the other side, definitely take the time to do it here. And then cross the ankle. And here we are in figure 4 shape, whatever that looks like for you. Maybe your foot's on the wall, maybe there's blocks under your right foot. We're here for 3 minutes, just like we were on the other side. So make sure that you feel sensation, but that you're also able to sustain the shape comfortably. And if you want to add the arms, you can bring them overhead and interlace them or cactus your arms. Notice your breath and see if you can still lengthen your breath. If the breath is challenging to deepen, then it might just be a signal to come out of the shape a little bit if you've gone too deep. Always want to be able to maintain slow and steady breathing, keeping our nervous system in its window of tolerance as we slowly push those boundaries of the body. So maybe think about reaching your left knee further forward away from you, adding more sensation that way, and maintaining the breath. Take 2 more breaths. And 1 more. And let your left leg pull into your chest just for a moment. And then straighten out the left leg, maybe letting both of your legs straighten out. You could shake them out. And we'll end on our backs in Supta Baddha Konasana, so butterfly. So soles of the feet together, knees open. And I like to have blocks to support my outer thighs, like so. I can just feel a little bit more supportive, or you could even put a bolster under you. And since this is kind of our Shavasana, basically, maybe you take a blanket, throw it over the body, make sure that you're warm. Have the air conditioning on, and blasting on me, so my feet are freezing. And I know that that's a lot of privilege right there. I'm grateful every day for my air conditioning, especially in Oregon. It's hard to find homes with AC. So we got really lucky. So let yourself settle in here into this shape, and maybe you don't even need the blocks, and if so, you can always remove them. Did a lot of stuff for the lower bodies, and you might feel really prepared for a butterfly, reclined butterfly without the props. And once again, arms can open wide. If you are laying on a bolster behind you, you could even do that to have a little bit extra opening in the chest. And then once again, noticing how you feel. Scan the body from the feet to the knees, up into your hips and your pelvic region, and your torso, your back, your chest, your shoulders, your arms, your neck, your face. And can you offer yourself some gratitude and appreciation for this body? And everything that it has done for you just today, just in this last hour. And checking in with your emotional state and seeing if there's any emotions present, maybe contentment or joy. Maybe there's sadness or grief. Whatever's here, just honoring and observing and allowing. And settling in and noticing the mind and if any thoughts are present. Or maybe the thoughts are kind of slow in this moment, like really slow clouds moving through the sky. Or if it's still a little breezy, just noting that. Maybe it's clear. And then start to straighten out your legs. Reach your arms all the way back behind you. Give yourself a big stretch. And then pull the knees up into the chest, wrap your arms around your legs, give yourself a big squeeze. Rock a little side to side. Roll over onto either side, come into a little fetal position. And then whichever hand it's not cradling the side of your head, press it into the earth as you rise all the way up into a seat. Sit up nice and tall. Roll the shoulders up towards the ears, roll them down the back. And bring your hands together at heart center. We'll take a closing breath together. Inhale. Open mouth, exhale. From my heart to each of yours, I humbly bow. Thank you so much for letting me guide you through this practice and letting me join you as well. And Griffey, he says hi. All right, I'll see y'all later. Have a great rest of your day.